Hello everybody and welcome to my video. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about race-restricted classes. As I'm sure many of you are aware, this is a topic that's up for discussion on the roundtable right now on EverQuestNext.com. And I decided that since there's not so much information going around right now about EverQuest Next, that I would just kind of tap into the roundtable stuff. So needless to say, you're going to be seeing a few more videos from me about the roundtable discussions, but let's get right into it. Sony just released a video on their YouTube channel pertaining to race-restricted classes. And for the first time during the roundtable, they actually don't agree with the majority vote. The majority vote being that most people actually want to see some restrictions as long as it pertains to lore. For example, people don't want to see any troll bards running around. Now, I was actually one of the people who voted that I'd like to see certain races restricted to certain classes based on lore. But after watching their video, a lot of what they said has started to make more sense. We all know that EverQuest Next isn't going to be a traditional MMO by any means. It's not going to be like a D&D experience. And they went on to explain that you shouldn't have certain abilities that are made only available to certain classes restricted to the race that you chose. For example, let's say that you pick a troll and you decide to make him a warrior, and further down the line you see a spell that you want that happens to be tied to the enchanter class and you can't access that spell. Those are the kind of restrictions that they don't want to see in their game, and I have to agree with them in that regard. While the traditional side of me doesn't really want to see a troll enchanter running around, or like say maybe a troll monk or bard, because it'll just kind of look weird. It just really sucks to have any kind of restrictions based on what you pick in a game that's going to be so wide open with all its classes and multi-classing systems. So the way I look at it is that people are just going to have to overcome seeing kind of silly combinations and dealing with the fact that it's not necessarily going to be classic lore. Now, I remember when I used to play EverQuest Online Adventures, and this was before they had any respecking, and I remember I ended up picking the wrong path because in EQOA, once you hit like level 20, you could choose between two paths. And there were two different paths that I could pick on my druid, and one was like you would get like a damage over time spell, and another one I believe was a heal over time spell. And I actually took the damage over time spell, and by the time I got to endgame I realized I didn't want that, I wanted the heal over time spell. So every 20 levels you would get a subsequent spell pertaining to the certain path that you had chosen. So needless to say, you could really mess up, and you can make some newbie mistakes if you didn't do your research, and it went pretty deep. And in EverQuest Online Adventures you could actually apply stat points right from the beginning. I think they gave you like 15 points that you could put into strength, dexterity, intelligence, charisma, things like that, and you could completely mess up your character. Every level you got stat points, and you had people that would put things in like strength where the modifiers were really crappy. Like on a druid, the strength modifiers weren't really good. It would have like a modifier +1, whereas charisma would be like +3. So, in other words, you could end up with a completely ridiculous character, and there was no way to respec for at least 9 months, I believe. So this was before the days of respecking, and it was pretty hardcore back then. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that they don't want to see something like that happening now with classes and abilities. So I completely understand where they're going with this. Now, there's something very interesting that hasn't been touched upon, and that's if you are good and evil. Say you want paladin spells and you've chosen to be quite a nasty character. You're gonna have to be careful about that because, obviously they're not gonna make it so that you can do both. I mean, Sony's already gone on record and said that if you're evil, you're not gonna get access to the paladin class and vice versa. And they call that the life of consequence, and it's just one of the consequences, and so you're gonna have to be a little careful about that. So let's say maybe you're playing an enchanter and you want some life tap abilities or a harm touch or something like that, and you've been a good person, you've been following a good path. You're probably not going to get access to those abilities, so you're going to want to be careful in terms of good and evil. But other than that, it looks like things are going to be pretty much straightforward, and you're going to be able to have access to every class no matter which race you choose. Now, I know that they said you can go on to change your course. Say if you're being evil, you can go ahead and maybe do a quest later on. Something that isn't going to be very easy, they said. And you can just change your path. You can go ahead and become a good person. So in a way, you can respec, if you decide to be evil, you can respec and be good. But it's just going to take a lot of effort, I believe. But that's about it for this video, guys. I just wanted to touch base on this subject a little bit and see what you guys think about it, and if you want to see race-restricted classes. Like I said, I was definitely leaning that way first, but I changed my mind after seeing their video, and I'm going to put that video down in the description for you guys to view. So make sure you check that out, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.